only 90 pa. Adukapro we have to keep some spaces for participants if they come later. Registered one.
Okay, sir.
It's 9:05. Shall we begin? Ask 2 more minutes. Shall we wait?
We'll wait till 9:05.
ஏதாவது யூடியூப் செக் பண்ணுங்களேன் யூடியூப்
Yes, sir.
மக்கள்
Hello.
Is audio not working? Okay, Alan, shall we begin?
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all at this webinar on career in music. Human ear can hear about 13 different frequencies or notes which make up the entire range of sounds which is music to our ears. All organisms on this planet make music, but humans are gifted species who are capable of making amazing sounds which can be interpreted by the listener. Music is a language that doesn't speak in a particular word. It speaks in emotions which can reach beyond all barriers. MCC, the School of Continuing Education, is humbled and honored by the presence of our chief guest, Mr. Simon K. King. We welcome you, sir, and the professional musicians like Mr. Sai Saravanan, Mr. Jim Satya, and Ms. Robinson from the music industry, who will be interacting with you in a short while. Now I request Dr. Surendra Purushottam, the Director for the School of Continuing Education, to welcome the gathering. Sorry, sir, I guess you are here on the meeting.
Are you able to hear me, Alan?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Sir, I think, sorry, sir, you can do the welcome address.
Alan, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir. You can start the welcome address.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the second part of our workshop on career in music. Our first session, which was held on the 15th of July, was a resounding success. We have since then been flooded with inquiries regarding the courses that we will be offering soon. The response has truly been overwhelming for us, and we are actually in the process of putting together a curriculum for our courses in music. A special welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. I hope you enjoy this program and are enriched by the proceedings. We have Mr. Simon King here as our chief guest for our workshop today. Mr. King is a well-known film composer. He made his debut in the film industry in 2013 and has never looked back since then. Sir, we thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to your address. Mr. King has been kind enough to actually convert his chief guestship into a formal academic session. Thank you, sir. We are all going to tremendously benefit from your talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Surendran.
I'd also like to welcome our principal, Dr. Paul Wilson, into our midst. His love for music knows no bounds. In spite of his very busy schedule, he has found time to look into every detail of this program, and he has been the guiding light for us. Thank you, sir, for being here with us today. We have three very distinguished musicians here with us today to share their expertise with us. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our resource persons, Mr. Jim Satya, Mr. Sai Saravanan, and Ms. Ro Vincent. Each of them is a doyen in his or her field of specialization. I'm certain that those who are here as participants will benefit in a very big way from their talks. Of the three, I know Mr. Jim Satya personally because we both studied here in MCC in the 1980s. And even then, he was a musical prodigy. I know Mr. Sai Sarunan from his work on the life of Pi, and Ms. Rose has this amazing background of having studied at Berkeley. I'm quite certain that everyone here is going to have a very fruitful day. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the sessions.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, sir, Suri sir, for the welcome address. Music is a very important thing for each one of us. I think without music, nobody can survive, and music makes a lot of change for each one of us. It does create an emotional experience, and it's up to the listener to interpret the music that is being played. And it's these experts who can convert music into a form which is very pleasing to our ears and make it. Sometimes we keep listening to the same song over and over again because it's so addictive. So I think these are the experts we have here who make experience which is so wonderful to us and pleasing to our ears. Now we have our principal, Dr. P. Wilson, the principal and secretary of Madras Christian College, who is a musician by himself and has the driving force and is a visionary to initiate this program on career in music. He is a very passionate person in trying to do things that is very useful for the people and also the student community. And he is identifying new avenues and promising career opportunities and possibilities for the students that are taking up their career. So I invite you, sir, to give your valuable thoughts at this time, which will benefit the students and also the community around us. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. The Director for School of Continuing Education, Dr. Surendran Purushottam, a chief guest for today, and my dear student, Simon K. King, the film composer, and the mentors, Ms. Ro Vincent, Mr. Jim Satya, and Ms. Sai Shravanam, and the mentors for the previous session. I think Timmy is here and others are also here. I really thank all of you for having taken your precious time and having consented to be with all of us. In the first session, Mr. D. Iman, he featured in the first session as a chief guest and he greeted all of us. That particular session, I mentioned about the need, why this concept of career and music, and why that to be in MCC, and why that in particular the unit called School of Continuing Education. I think I explained all these concepts, but anyway, I would like to repeat it briefly. Madras Christian College, by its legacy, is known for theatre and music. I put it as performing arts. And we all know about the teachers whom we heard. They were all pioneers in their own field. And music and theatre, it was only assumed only its place as performance here in Madras Christian College. The learning was only informal. Nothing was consolidated, nothing was formalized into a module for educational purposes. Having seen the legacy, having seen the potential of converting these performing arts into an education and scholarship, which is not so easy in Indian context, as many of you might agree with me, it's not so easy. And Indian parents would not view this as a career. But we need to look at this particular pandemic and the post-COVID scenario where the transitions in the educational scenario is occurring. So I'm sure that most of the musicians and most of the musicians who suffered because of this, they have started thinking about music as education. And you can see in Facebooks, in other social media, flooded with online classes. Now is the time that we need to because when you say online classes, it's like those who are not educated properly, they try to begin the online classes. But if you try to make it very scholarly based on the nuances and create a module and offer to the students, I'm sure the culture of independent music would arrive in India. Already India is having a potential. Maja has initiated the avenue for, I think very many of you might know the new song that was really very popular among many of the music lovers. If you count the statistics, there are only 1 billion people for learning music or hearing music through movies. But there are 6 billion people who hear music through other modes like independent music all over the world. Now we are trying to appeal only to this minority rather than the majority. But in Indian context, bringing this into a practice is a big task. I know that I'm burning my fingers, but anyway, with the support of all my mentors, who have agreed to be journeying with me, traveling with me, also to burn their own fingers, I'm sure that we can set a trend. If we want to set a trend, we have to burn our fingers. I remember many of our students who go to Berkeley spending a lot of money, but why can't we think about something appears to be impossible and making it tangible? That is my vision. I'm sure by the time I retire, I will succeed. If I don't succeed also, I'll be happy that I have initiated something and my successor would take it up and maybe formalize it into the music education in MCC. And I would see before I'm called for eternity. So this is my vision with which this particular session with much difficulties. You know that our team has been struggling to promote and educate people, creating awareness about the correct stuff, kind of mentors that we bring in. It's very difficult. People want to simply take guitars and sit in gutters and play and go off. That's what MCC is all about. But I have seen many eminent musicians emerged from MCC, that too from gutters, but only through informal grooming. But now we are trying to formalize it, for which we need to prepare the minds of the students in Madras Christian College. And I'm envisaging that a kind of a course in Western music as well as Indian music can be brought in line with University Grants Commission, where we have a scope for creating a Bachelor of Vocational Studies course in music business. And we also can have other than mainstream, we can have course in line with the other conservatories around the world. So already we have started discussing with the University of West London. The discussion is going on. And we have already started working with Wheaton College, where there is a conservatory. We are also working with St. Olaf. We are also working with Elmhurst University. So these are the things that as a homework that I've been doing in parallel. I do not know how it is going to succeed, but I'm sure with the help of God, the efforts that we put in amidst a busy schedule definitely would come to be a reality. And people might look at me saying that this guy is out of ambition, arrow polar. So out of ambition, he's trying to do all those things. Let him teach chemistry and keep quiet and take care of his business. Already, I'm flooded with a lot of files here. But apart from this, I sit here on Saturday and I wanted to be spending time with all of you to learn from you and my own fellow students to listen to you. I think this shows that I have a meaningful passion. It's not simply for obligatory passion, a meaningful passion. I'm sure that my mentors would support me and my students would really understand that the scope for independent music in India. So that's the only tag on which I'm going to end my talk here. Independent culture of independent music. I think we are now going to enter in post-COVID scenario. I'm sure, and many of the mentors would definitely, mine is probably a prophetic utterance. Post-COVID scenario is going to completely transform the education sector. That much I'm sure. I'm including music education too, and in which a lot of weeds would arise, a lot of originality would arise. So we need to curb the weeds. You can look at the social media. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry begins the online classes. I think we need to give quality to the education, music education, and we need to cultivate and nourish and cherish this new culture of giving a formalized way of educating people. So I'm sure this effort by Madras Christian College, by the School of Continuing Education would be fruitful. And after this, we'll be moving into the intensive courses that we have planned. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I wish all success for the mentors who are going to be involving in training our own mentees. So Simon King, thank you for accepting, and Jim Satya, thank you, Ro Vincent and Sai Shonam and all others. Thank you very much for having accepted my invitation. Thank you.
that's a small introduction about our chief guest. So it's fortunate and very humbling for us to have you in our presence. We welcome you, Mr. Simon K. King. So he's a very, very acclaimed professional in the field of music. He has been associated with the Indian film composer, and was predominantly composes music for the Indian films. He has made his debut with Sashi's Anitu Anitu in 2013 and is well known for his chartbuster song Yuvana from the movie Satya and for his background score for Kolekaran. So he's a very acclaimed musician, and also he is a composer, a performer, a record producer, a music director, arranger, singer, and songwriter. So he's a very versatile person that we have in our midst. So Simon King actually started his music career as a keyboard programmer while he was pursuing his graduation in electrical engineering. He then continued his work on developing his interest in composing and arranging music. From there, he started composing jingles, where he has notably worked on more than about 300 jingles for various brands. He also worked as a freelance music producer for many music directors in Tamil, Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and in the film industry. He has been associated with a lot of films right from the year 2013. In 2013, it was Anitu Anitu. Then you have 2017 Satya, 2019 Kolaigaran, then 2019 Market Raja MBBS. Then 2019, you also have Contract. Then 2019, you have Raja Bhima, and then Asura Guru. Then we have now in 2022, I guess he's working with WWW, which is a Telugu film. So he's been continuously involved in a lot of activities, and he's a very versatile person. We're very happy to have you in our midst, sir. So we'd like to hear from you, and we'll be very happy to hear all the experience that you have that you're going to share in a few minutes with us. So thank you for taking your precious time amidst your busy schedule and being with us here. Thank you very much, and over to you, sir. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope everything is clear, my audio and everything. So very happy to be here. Thank you for the lovely introduction, and thanks to Madras Christian College School of Continuing Education in the first place for doing this, and also thanks to Mr. Dr. Surendran, who gave a nice introduction. And first of all, I'm very happy to see a lot of my friends here, Jim and Ro, and Mr. Sai Shranam. I'm meeting him for the first time, but I've heard a lot about him. And Rombo Mukyama, I would like to thank Wilson sir. So you'll be wondering what I am doing here, and how did I come to know about Madras Christian College and School of Continuing Education and everything. It's only because of Wilson sir. And it's a very interesting story. Like Wilson sir vandu enakku HOD when I was doing my engineering, and he's one of the main pillars why I am even a music director right now. So I think you remember when he was speaking, he said இவன் ரொம்ப ஓவரா பண்றான், ரொம்ப இதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லாம பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கான். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரிலாம் அவர் சொன்னாரு. But sir, what you did this to me, that's what made me what I am today. So, and I'm very happy about it, because when you're a music director or when you're a music producer, you can easily identify talents. You can see a good musician who plays very well. Appa, ivan nalla vasikran. He's a good pianist. He's a good guy. You know, you can employ him. You can just encourage him. You can make him work. But when you're in college, almost everybody is an amateur. So not everyone is a professional, or not everyone is extremely talented when they are in college. It's almost like a learning phase. I was amateur. Maybe I'm a better amateur now. That's all I can say. But I was a complete amateur in college. And he has a knack of finding talents then and there. See, that's a real talent I found in him. Because even back in college, like he was so encouraging. He said like he was also in charge. He was in charge of all culturals and everything. We even won Sarang like when sir was there. So it was like, and I'm so happy that he's still continuing it now for almost every aspiring musician. So thank you so much, sir. I'm very happy that you're doing this, and I'm very happy that Madras Christian College is doing this, and so many dreams, and I wish everything comes true. And it's a big privilege, for everyone participating. because I know Jim personally is such a good friend, and Ro and Mr. Sasha. So these guys, like, it's like, to be very honest, it's not a very easy job to even sit with them, to meet them, and talk to them and discuss music with them, and to arrange such a thing. And it's such a big privilege. Like, I never had this privilege when when I started my career or something. I had to do a lot of mistakes to learn what to do, and it was like completely mistakes, like, and that's what I wanted to tell you about, mostly. And, because music making is not a perfect process as we think. There is a lot of mistakes. Like, you can see a band playing so well, or some big musician performing so well, and or a great record. You might think that's perfect, but behind every great record and behind every great performance, there have been thousands of blunders. So I would always say, embrace your mistakes, embrace the blunders you do, because that's what's going to take you to the next level. So don't try to create anything perfect, or something like that, because I personally believe in that. So I've done a lot of mistakes in my career when I started. And it's good thing, like, when you listen to people like Jim or Ro or Mr. Sai Shona, and they are from various aspects of music. Especially Jim is a music producer, and Ro is arranger, and Sai Shona is a sound engineer. And you are almost covering every aspect of music in like a few hours. That's something huge. It's something huge. So I think it's better, like, we all make good use of it. In fact, even I'm gonna to listen to them. I can't wait to hear what's gonna happen. And what else to say? I'm not very great in speaking, as it's like I'm just comfortable because I have a lot of friends here, and I can see the faces, and this is also very new to me, over Zoom and things like that. But for me, as a composer, I believe, see, because the others are gonna say a lot of things about music production, the technicalities and everything. But for me, as a composer, I believe, like, composition. So basically, when I compose a song, for me, a composing is almost like an expression. I don't plan anything. We don't plan how to get angry. We don't plan how to fall in love. We don't plan how to laugh or how to cry. It just happens. So it's an expression. So music as such, it's a very expressive thing. We can't plan music. We can't, like, arrange certain things like this. This is how it has to come. That's how it has to come. These happen in the later stages. But a composition can strike you wherever you are. It can be like, it may not be at the studio. It can be when you're traveling in your bike, or it can be when you're playing, or it can be, it can happen anywhere. But it's almost like an expression. That what happens, right in the beginning, and from there. Okay, so from my experience, what I've learned is to keep the purity of this process. It might not be perfect. It doesn't have to be something exceptional, out of the world. No. But even when it's simple, that's too special to me as a composer. So I like to keep this as pure as possible. And then another thing, like, like, if you're planning, like, if you might have plans to become a music director as such, like, I know many might want to become a music producer, a singer, a songwriter. So there are so many aspects of music. But if you're planning to become a music director, what I would always suggest is, don't force yourself to one particular genre of music. Like, listen, be open to every genre of music. You can listen to jazz or blues and everything. At the same time, listen to Hindustani, Carnatic, and there is like, and listen to every genre of music. Like, you need not be a master of one. You can be a jack of all trades. So it's always better to be very open. And because your audience, like, the audience who you're going to give your music to, end of the day, your song has to relate to people. People should love your song. So that's what I say. Like, there are so many great singers who can sing with so much of nuances. But why people like SPB? He connected with people. His voice connected with people. There was so much that kind of a feel, that kind of a magic that always happened. So the musicality and everything, that's going to support you. But end of the day, everything falls into this pure thing that's called a composition, and this whole feel and everything. And see, being a music composer myself, it was a learning process, and it's still a learning process, because I still believe I haven't done the perfect song. I don't believe there's a perfect song in the first place, or a perfect composition. If you ask, like, say, if you ask Jim, which is is this the best song you produced, he'll say, yeah, maybe I produced this, but I wish I would have done that much better now. And the same thing falls for every musician. Even if you ask me, if you sing like Yavana is the best song, when I listen to Yavana, I can hear 1,000 mistakes in that song. I wish I would have corrected it. So it's a never-ending process. Like, there's nothing called the perfect mix. It just goes on forever and ever, ever. Because as we evolve, as things evolve, things keep changing. So don't go for the perfect thing. Like, let music blossom in that moment. That's what I always feel. I'm basically a jack of all trades. I'm not a master. Like, I'm not a master like your other people who are going to teach you today, my other musicians. I'm just a jack of all trades. But to be a music director, it's like almost putting two form of art together. It's like cinema and music together. So I'm gonna be a bridge in between cinema and music, and bringing both together. See, it's a process it's a musical process, but there are also other things involved, like language. It's a very important thing, and knowing some basics of cinema, that's more important. So I would always say, like, to my friends, like, if you want to become a composer, like, know your language first, and know cinema first, know music. So all these three things has to come together. If you're a if you want to do English tracks, know English, read books, poetry, because songwriting, it's a very, very important process. The lyrics is something that's going to connect your song to people. People are only going to recollect lyrics and then get your song. So when you make a song, the song gets complete with the lyrics and the song, with the melody and everything together. So it's very important that you have something that patches all these things together. Like because you need to score, you need to make a song, you need to do everything. So if you're a music director, it's not just like I'm a musician. When I work for another music director, it's a different thing. I can be a complete musician and I can enjoy being a musician. But when I'm a music director, I have to be almost like a middleman in between some people and make sure that I give good music, uncompromised, and make people accept my music. So it's a collective process. That's what I believe. Like, and my way of making music, as you would have listened to all my songs, it's almost organic, because it's not just me, it's four of us together. It's like we work together, and my core team, it's like me, Keith, Vasant David, my drummer, and Godfrey, my guitar player, and of course Rose. They're almost all my song Elfie used to sing for us, and it's a collective process. Like, and we share a lot of music, and I think that's one main thing that's missing today. We stopped sharing music. Like, we listen, we share playlist. It's not about sharing music. So only when we share music, and when we share our music, we can just get to know the mistakes we do, or we can get to know something better. It's always good to know something better, like sharing music within musicians. So when I make a song, I might like the song, and maybe when Keith comes to play the bass, he might like the song. But when I send it to Vasant to play the drums, he might find something is not happening with the song. So we work like a collective mindset. There are, like, four minds coming together to create a song that gives it something. So that's what I always say, like, it's a teamwork. But to be a music director or to compose something, it's always a teamwork. And my lyricist, he takes at least 40% of the credit for the song, because we sit or a song and the lyrics to sit, we take at least so much of time and so much of importance for lyrics, for the language, and everything that which has to connect. So even if you're doing an independent song, it's more than the song. It's more about the lyrics and everything that has to come together. So it's always better that we have a know the everything, like the whole process and everything together. And so that will, like, just and go on forever. And but I think, like, you have all these people to listen to. And Wilson sir, thank you once again so much. And I really wish this is going to be a huge success, and I'm always there to help you in anything and everything regarding this initiative that you've taken. And thank you, Jim, Joe, and Mr. Sai Sharanam. And very happy meeting all of you here. Thank you. All the best.
Simon, do you want to play any of the tracks?
Also, no, not right now, sir. I'm not like, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Simon King.
Thank
So
you.
we're very fortunate to hear from you and your experiences, and you put it down in so simple words so that all of us can understand what you're doing with your experience and your talents that God has put in you. I think it's very fortunate to have our mentors who are here, who will be taking us further into the session. And now we'll go into the session so that we can learn a lot more into the music and then what we're going to do in future, probably after listening to their talk. So I'd just like to